Hello, you guys. I'm going to start right off the top. Last week, I tried to film 3 videos and they were not successful because I was in my own brain. And I'm sharing this with you because so many of my clients have said to me, "Oh, SabriNa, how do you have it all figured out?" And I am here to tell you, I do not have it all figured out. And as I've shared in previous videos, I'm moving through a separation. This means that my emotions are kind of all over the map. So today I was at the gym and I'm walking on the Stairmaster, and let me tell you, they don't call it Stairmaster for no reason. It is freaking my master. Like, it gets me moving. It is challenging, and I love moving my body. It's very challenging to maybe bring yourself to do it, but once you're done, you feel so invigorated and so alive. But as I was on the stairs, and I always go really early, this is when my brain is like the most elevated and fresh, and so many ideas are coming to me. I was like, I want to share with you the challenges that have gone on as I'm moving through my separation. Because if you are going through a breakup, if you are going through a separation of any sort, my God, it is so challenging, and we can beat ourselves up for the things we are going through, and we start to see major changes as our bodies and mind are trying to adjust to what we are going through. So as usual, I always take notes. So I was on the stairs with my phone writing these notes, and I was like going like crazy. I'm like, oh, this is going to be important. This is going to be important. And then I sat down and I wrote it out for you so that I do not forget anything. So I'm going to start right off the top. Before my separation, who I was. And you'll know and you'll connect to who you were before you had gone through something so challenging. I would wake up with all this motivation. I'm an early riser. I would get to the gym. So I'm like waking up at 4 a.m. I'm sitting there drinking my lemon water with apple cider vinegar and wheatgrass and listening to something inspirational. Get in the car. I go to the gym. I do my workouts. I have another job, you guys, on top of my business. So I'm doing my 9 to 5 type of work, and then I'm doing my business when I come home at night and seeing all my clients. And then after I would be done seeing my clients, I'd come downstairs and I would make dinner for me and my partner. I would make him his lunch, his breakfast. I would be cleaning the dishes, emptying the dishwasher, starting some stuff for myself for the next day, preparing. And then towards the end of the night, I would probably read a book or go sit downstairs and spend some time with my partner. And always a daily walk. A daily walk is so good for my soul. I would take off my shoes. I would ground myself in the earth because there's nothing better than feeling the earth beneath your feet. At the time, I had a dog, and so I would walk her. She was a husky. She needs that motivation as well to like move her body. Otherwise, I'm dealing with a lot. And then I started going through this separation, and everything changed. I've gone through a lot of turmoil in my life, and the things that have always been easy to reach for have been those daily walks, my meditation. I have a healing playlist, so I know how to just kind of like channel that energy, because I know the things we listen to, the things we watch, the things we see, the people we talk to affect us completely. But what happened this time, you guys, was I was frozen in time. This has never happened to me before. And I'm sharing this because maybe you are experiencing this. And if you think that there's something wrong, there isn't. This is when our nervous system is so overwhelmed, it starts to shut things down. The things that you may have done before are now being put on the back burner because your brain just needs to focus on keeping you alive and sustaining you while you are moving through this hard season of your life. So for me, all of a sudden, I wasn't really excited to wake up in the morning. And when I did wake up, I was filled with so much anxiety. Like, my life feels like a dream. This doesn't feel real that this is happening. And this is really big for me because 15 years ago, I used to wake up with anxiety every day. I hadn't experienced that feeling in so long. So now there was like this morning anxiety coming. And going to the gym, not great. I would be driving to the gym and I would be crying. I'd get to the gym and I'd work out, and then I'd be crying in the red light room. Oh my God, if I haven't talked to you about the red light, I will talk to you about the red light. So healing, so good for you. Look it up, red light therapy. Um, it was just like different. I wasn't motivated to do the things that I would normally do. I took a week off work because I was like, you know what? I just need to ground myself. I need to go for walks. I need to connect back to me during this season. But then I was just laying in bed for hours, staring at a wall and couldn't move, couldn't talk to people. I would get phone calls and I wouldn't answer them. Again, not like me. I knew how to tell people I needed help, but I didn't know what I needed in terms of support. That's something really big as well. Like, you know that you need support, but like, what do I need right now? I'd never experienced that. And this is coming from seasons of work. I've done so much work on myself. And so to see this different part of me show up, it was jarring. So you might be seeing a different part of you that you have not seen before. And I want you to hold space for that. So in addition to that, not answering the phone calls, what else showed up for me was that I would go to do the dishes and there would only be like 3 dishes in the sink, and suddenly 2 hours has gone by and I haven't washed the dishes, and it was like time moved past me. And then I'd wonder, what did I do with my time? Again, just so much anxiety. My body is here, but my spirit is somewhere else. I'm present with people, but my body's here, but I feel like I'm not. It feels like I'm watching a movie. This is like a bit of disassociation, right? And the reason our brain disassociates when we are moving through hardship is because it's trying to protect you. It's trying to protect you. It's too painful to feel, so we're going to kind of bring ourselves somewhere else. So everything in who I was started to shift. I couldn't show up for myself. And now we're looking to sell our house and my partner's starting to do renovations. And I know that I want to actively help, but it's like, I can't. I'm frozen. And it was really scary. So I'm sharing this with you because it is normal if you are going through a breakup or a separation and the way you once were and the way you're showing up is entirely different. And I think the biggest thing for me was like, I knew that this separation was supposed to happen. You know, as sad as I was, I understand that it's for the better good. It is a very amicable separation. There is so much change that came into play, and even when understanding and knowing it's for the better good, you are still going to mourn and you are still going to grieve. So as I'm still moving through it, I'm creating this video, and I asked myself, why are you creating this video, SabriNa, right now when you haven't even gotten over the other side fully yet? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I'm already feeling so much better. I'm already feeling so much better, and these are the things that I did in order to start to be able to show up as me again. And I want to provide these tips to you because if you're in the thick of it, you don't have to be on the other side to start to feel better. I'm going to repeat it. You do not have to be on the other side to start to feel better. I'm going to look down on my notes and I'm going to tell you the things that I have done. But off the top of my head, one of the things I know that I did that was really helpful is when I was laying in bed and I felt like, I'm frozen, I can't move. Well, I'm gonna pick myself up and I'm gonna go outside, or I'm gonna take a drive to the beach or to a park, and I'm just gonna lay on the grass. Whether I'm laying in the bed or laying in the grass frozen, at least by changing your environment, you are inviting a new feeling into your body and your brain is like, this is different. So that's number one, change your environment. If you are frozen in time and you can't move, you could take yourself to a park, you could take yourself, I don't know, even to a friend's house. You don't have to talk. If you have solid friendships in your life or family or somebody that you trust, then you could just be who you are and sit in that pain with them. That is a gift, and that is still changing your environment. So that's the first thing I did. Number two, I stopped listening to sad songs. Sad songs help us and make us feel connected and really invite almost feeling seen and heard through a song so you don't feel alone. But after a while, it could start to taint your brain a little bit and keep you stuck in that sadness. So I started changing it up. In fact, I stopped listening to any music. I would drive in silence. My brain was already overstimulated with all my thoughts. I didn't need anything else. Silence and not inviting that sadness back in. What else did I do? Let's see here. What do I have for you? Oh, yes. Okay. Connect to your truth. Your brain is going to tell you all kinds of stories. Mine was telling me all kinds of stories. The separation was my fault, even though it was amicable and we both decided that this was what was best for us. Like, how does that even make sense? My brain was telling me that I was unworthy, that I wasn't lovable, so many crappy stories. Our brain does this. I don't know. This is why I always say you got to connect back to that inner knowing and trust that spirit within you, because your brain is not always your best friend. So connecting to my truth and looking at the entire situation as a whole. What is my brain saying and what is 100% the truth? What are the facts? So you should ask yourself, what are the facts of the situation versus what my brain is saying? Because sometimes our brain makes us feel worse than what we actually have to feel. That's key. Another thing that I felt was really important was to not speak to and confide in the mutual friends that my partner was speaking to. I wanted to leave space for him to speak to whom he needed to without interjecting and causing more turmoil. You will learn, because I'll create a separate video about that, that I did end up caving and speaking to friends that he spoke to, and it caused so much unneeded stress. I think it's important that you have your people to speak to, and your partner has their safe people to speak to. And this way there's no conflict between the two of you or friends thinking this and that. And it can become really high school. And if you're watching this and you're in high school, I'm sorry. It can become very childish and dramatic and even as adults. We don't want that. We are already moving through so much. We just need peace. We just need peace. Okay, keeping up with your routine. Even though I was struggling and my brain was like, don't go to the gym, SabriNa. You just need to stay at home. Well, what the heck am I going to do staying at home? I'm going to be sad. I'm going to lay in bed again. I'm going to cry. I was forcing myself to go to the gym. So like I said, even if that meant that I was crying at the gym, I was still showing up for myself in some way or another. And I know this isn't easy for everyone. It's I just can't bring myself to do it. I understand, because like I said, I couldn't bring myself to even wash dishes. 2 hours were going by and I was like, what the heck, you guys? What is happening? Maybe you need an accountability partner. So that is the other tip. I had an accountability partner. I have a fitness coach. I'm very blessed. I know not everybody can, but so you could seek a friend out. You can seek family member out. You could seek out somebody. Seek out somebody. You could seek out somebody in your life that can kind of hold you accountable. So I had weekly check-ins with my fitness coach, and it was this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm at. And she's incredible because she focused on mental health as well. It wasn't just about body, because of my history, as some of you know, I'd gone through an eating disorder. It's not just about body image, it's about overall health. Our bodies are such a gift. So for me to maintain that health, mind, body, and spirit, that was everything. So having an accountability partner, keeping up with some of the routines that I already had integrated into my life were key. So I encourage you, if your mind is telling you not to do it, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Push yourself. As long as you're being healthy about it. I need to be clear. Okay. Oh, stop seeking validation. When we are going through things, we can repeat our story over and over and over. Not to one person, but to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5, to 6, because we are seeking external validation because we just want to feel better. You need to start to learn to trust yourself, know your truth. And I know that can be really challenging when we are moving through such hardship, but the more you can lean into your own truth, the better you'll be able to heal. When we seek validation from so many other people, What can happen is now we have advice from this person and this person and that person, and we don't even know who to listen to anymore. And now our own voice is lost. Choose two people. Who are two people in your life that you can fully trust? We don't need all the external validation. So if you find yourself in a space right now where you're seeking out externally, pause, scale it back. Who are the two people you could speak to? And lean into your own inner knowing. That inner knowing doesn't come from the brain. It is a feeling inside your body. And we will talk about that inner knowing in a separate video, because that is so much of what has guided me through this entire process along the healing journey, moving through my separation, trusting and knowing that I'm going to be okay. Lean into that feeling inside of you. Oh, this one is so fun, you guys. Okay, I don't have children. So if you're moving through a divorce and you have children, I know that this is a whole other layer of complication. Gosh, it's challenging because now you're not only looking out for you, you're not thinking about your partner, but you're also thinking about your children. It's layered. It's multidimensional. And sometimes it might be hard to show up as a parent because it's hard to show up for yourself. And even as you show up as a parent, you might find that showing up for yourself is just non-existent. I want you to lean into the children in your life. It could feel like an extra layer of work. So my brother has two kids, my niece and nephew, and they are such a gift in my life, Aria and Avery. They bring me so much joy. What you'll learn about me is that for years I wanted to have kids and I couldn't due to not having my menstrual cycle. This is like the residue of an eating disorder, and that will be, again, a whole other episode. I have so much to share with you guys. I'm so excited. So I always embrace the kids in my life so much. They're such a gift. So I was at my brother's house and we were sitting around the fire and the kids were like, "Taunt." They call me ma tante, which is aunt in French, but they say taunt for slang. "Taunt, come on the trampoline." And I was like, "Oh, you guys, I'm really tired. Not today." And I was crying. And at this point, I was crying about so many things that happened in my life because it was layered, you guys. There was just so much happening at once. I didn't even know what I was crying about anymore. So much grief. Like, let me backslide a little bit. I know I'm going off track with the kids conversation, but let me just tell you, because maybe you will find you're not just moving through a separation. There are layers of things happening in your life right now. So I had to give my dog up for adoption because she's a husky. Knowing that I'm not going to be in a relationship, it was like, I cannot give this dog what it needs. And I think that's the biggest lesson for me, was learning I didn't know I could love so much because I've had to become so selfless in this journey. I've had to become so selfless. So I had to give my dog up for adoption. My coach, because I see a coach, just because I'm a coach doesn't mean that I don't need mental health support. Like, we all do. I had been seeing her for 6 years and she had passed by suicide. My dad had been hospitalized. That was really scary. In addition to that, my brother had gone through a separation and I was supporting my brother, supporting my mom through my dad being hospitalized, moving through my very own separation. Then I had a friend pass away by suicide, which is so challenging. And if you've gone through it, there is so much grief there. There were just layers of things happening all at once. So when I was crying, I didn't even know what I was crying about. And then, of course, there was the whole falling out of my marriage and then falling into someone else and feeling for that person and totally not being ready for that or even that experience as a whole. So it was like layer upon layer upon layer, and then grieving the loss of friendship, another layer. We do not want to stack what we are going through. Try not to be like, "Oh, but I'm going through this and then this happened and then this happened," because we are telling our brain that we have so much to be sad about. However, you will find if all of this is going on in your life at once, if you are not just focusing on one pain, when you are crying, you don't even know what you're crying about anymore. You are just filled with so much grief. And tears are so beautiful because It is the unspoken emotion. It is the emotions that can't come out through words. So if you don't like crying, I want to encourage you that it is really, really beautiful. Someone once told me that those with the kindest hearts, those who feel so emotionally, cry a lot. And I'm a freaking crier. So if you're a crier, I welcome it. Okay, back to the kids' conversation. Yeah, so my niece and nephew, they're like, Count, come on the trampoline, and like everything was resisting it. I am like, I do not want to go on the trampoline. I have cried all day. I cried in the bathroom because I put on a song and it triggered me. Gosh, I didn't want to go on the trampoline. And then I was like, you know what? Force yourself. Force yourself to go on the trampoline. And I forced myself, not only for them, because they love when I'm around and the experiences we share, but I forced myself because I knew that it would change my state. So even when you don't want to force yourself, just force yourself and do the thing. Just do the thing. So I went on the trampoline and I was jumping around, I was poking at them and we were laughing, and like I laid on the trampoline as they were jumping. And then when I got off, I felt so good. It was like that inner child within me. So like invite the inner child into your life, do the things. And if you have children in your life, this is a perfect opportunity to see life through the eyes of a child. The innocence, the purity, connecting back to like the raw and the real. And that's what kids show you. So that's been a beautiful gift in my life. Like people can look at it like a hindrance and like, oh, kids, like it's one more thing to think about. But it can really invite a softness and playfulness in. So lean into the kids in your life. If you have a niece, a nephew, friends that have kids, your own, lean into that. Another thing was self-compassion. I was beating myself up because of the ways I had shown up and how I was now showing up. Oh, I should also add, like, I'm a holistic nutritionist. So like I teach my clients what to eat and how to nourish their body and how to take care of ourselves, body, mind, and spirit, because it's all interconnected and it all feeds into the layers of what we are going through. But here I was drinking like 2 coffees, an energy drink midday, not sleeping properly, going to bed at like 12, waking up at 4. Like what was I doing to myself, right? So I could have beat myself up for that, and the old me absolutely would have. The new me was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to invite self-compassion in because I'm going through a lot right now. I'm going to allow myself to have the energy drink, even with all the garbage ingredients. I'm going to allow myself to do this. I saw old patterns pop up. I have OCD. What do you guys think? Like I help my clients who have OCD and I live in a space of recovery, but old parts were poking out and then they would happen and I'd be like, you don't belong here. Thank you, brain. I don't need your help. Thank you, coping mechanism. I don't need your help right now. And then it would pop in again. Thank you, coping mechanism. Gentle with self, because we are moving through hardship. It was recognizing what I was moving through and providing myself with the self-compassion, knowing I can only show up as I can show up today in the best way I know how. You are showing up in the best way you know how. Invite some self-compassion in. It is so key to your healing to allow yourself to just feel your feelings. It is okay to cry. It is okay to feel. You might not show up as the best version of yourself today, but tomorrow will be different. An hour could be different. A single moment can be different. Not all is lost if you had one bad day, if you had one bad moment, if you had one bad slip up, if you had the energy drink when you should have had the water, when you had the cookie when you should have had the apple. Not all is lost. We can only show up as we show up in that moment, see where we're falling short, and work on it again with self-compassion. Okay, so that's self-compassion. What else do I have here? This is really big. I started to connect to new friendships as you're moving through a separation, you're growing and changing and shifting. So I was leaning into new friendship and new community. Maybe people I didn't always hang out with, or we kind of talked and we were acquaintances, and being like, let's go for coffee, let's get to know each other more. Again, playing with that brain and inviting new relationships in. I really found connection through a lot of good friends that are new in my life, and that has been such a gift. So leaning into that and just embracing the people that did show up for me, and knowing that the ones that couldn't or didn't, again, that there's nothing wrong with that, but also recognizing that people are going to judge my experience. And I say that because people outside of you, as you're moving through your separation, especially if you've been with someone for a very long time, mutual friends, people are going to look at you and judge you. I think you just need to remember to lean into your truth and know who you are. Remember who you are at your core. Remember what you are moving through, and leaning into new friendships and new relationships, because you are starting to build a new life for you. And that is super exciting if you can allow yourself to embrace that. So embrace the excitement of the adventure that is to come. And lastly, I'm here just to say, if you are moving through a separation, I see you. I am validating all the things that you are feeling. It is freaking messy. It is so messy. It is all over the place. It's not going to be linear. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to show up in the ways that you used to. Hold space for it all. To be beautifully human means you are going to feel all kinds of different feelings. You're going to feel happy. You're going to feel sad. One minute you're going to be crying. The next you're going to be laughing. Like, there are layers. You're going to have confusion, questions, question behind the mark. Like, oh my God. Being human, beautifully human, means holding space for all the experiences. If you feel like you have a hole in your heart, like it feels empty, because gosh, as I've been grieving all the different layers, my marriage, the person that I had met and fell into, my dog, my friendships, people that have passed, that hole that you feel is creating space for something new. And I know your brain might say that you don't want anything new, that you want your old life because your old life feels safe. But that hole in your heart is making space. Lean into that. Feel into that. Trust. Trust that the journey is going to guide you wherever you are meant to go. And as that hole in your heart starts to fill back up, you are going to feel more whole than you ever felt. It is impossible to go through such hardship and not come out the other side. We always do. Everything in your life has led you to this very moment, and you have gotten through absolutely everything. Here you are. Lean in and trust.